Finally, we've got an Exynos processor-powered budget smartphone, or flagship killer. Hello everyone, Ray here. This is the Exynos 8890-powered Meizu Pro 6 Plus with a Quad HD Super Amoled Display. Let's dive into it. Or it's not an iPhone replica, but the design of the Meizu Pro 6 Plus somehow similar to that. The simplistic design, the rounded corners, a 2.5D glass panel, and a fingerprint sensor on the front, with a color-matched metallic ring surrounding the sensor. The fingerprint sensor, however, is terrific, more on that later. On the back, the design's again nothing out of ordinary. The antenna line's there, however the dual-tone LED flash on the Pro 6 Plus is a ring with altogether 10 LEDs. 10 surrounding the laser autofocus, which works up to 6.5 feet, compared to the average of 6 feet. Cool. The build quality is also decent considering its price tag. The bezels are thin, with a 5.7 inches display but only 158 grams of weight, and 7.3 millimeters at its thickest point. The phone feels solid yet incredibly thin in hands. The home button, volume rockers, and the power key also offer surprisingly strong feedback. Meanwhile, we've got an LED notification light right next to the earpiece. NFC is also a must. Right back on the fingerprint sensor is extraordinary. Even if I press and release immediately, it unlocks just fine, in a split of a second. The microphone in the meantime, it's got two microphones there, so it does support noise cancellation, but the audio quality is not the best I've seen. It's got a passable grade for sure. USB on the go is there and working as we've expected as well. The Type-C port in the meantime specced with USB 3.1. File transfers up to 10 times faster than phones with ordinary USB 2.0 ports. So overall, the design might be a bit boring, but the build quality is absolutely more than just a pass. Now, performance and features. The Pro 6 Plus here is an international variant running FlashingDroid 5, which is based on Android 6.0.1. Android 7.0 update should be available sooner or later, but for now, the new expandable notification preview is not here. Multi-window, however, has got native support. Apps that support the multi-window framework will have a multi-icon on the top right-hand corner. Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube are all supported. We're also getting a whole lot of gestures under assistant settings. Not only can we double tap to wake the phone up, but also swipe upwards to unlock, swipe downwards to pull down the notification panel directly, or even swipe to the left or to the right to skip tracks. Amazing. The alphabet drawing feature is also one of the most sophisticated versions I've seen. C for camera, E for browser, M for music. We can also give OSVZ dedicated apps. Brilliant. Floating dock in the meantime is not a particular practical feature to have, most of the time, but it's not a story when it comes to Meizu's interpretation on this feature. A single tap brings you to the previous action, while an upward swipe brings you to the home screen, and swiping to the left or to the right switches between recent apps. The opacity of the dock can also be modified to suit your style. Speaking of system navigation, the home key here is named as M-Touch, simply because it's not just a home key. It acts as a back button responding to light touches, and a proper press will bring us to the home screen, while a long press will put the phone to sleep. Unfortunately, recent apps page can only be triggered through an upward swiping gesture from the bottom edge of the screen. The 5.7 inches Pro 6 Plus not particularly easy to control with one hand, and now is even worse. Press Touch or another version of the 3D Touch, however, is a surprise considering the price. It works just like an iPhone, but mainly system apps got supported up to this point. Meanwhile, take a look at the gallery. Alright, you've got the idea. Last but certainly not least, always on display, and pocket mode. It's definitely a features-packed phone, a budget smartphone. Or a budget smartphone with an Exynos 8890 processor, 4GB of RAM, and a UFS 2.0 superfast ROM storage. This is insane. Actually, it's identical to the Note 7 or the S7. FlashingDroid, however, is far from perfect. Minor lags here and there is not the most responsive system on Earth. According to the standard apps opening speed test, compared to other recent flagships, the Pro 6 Plus requires 4 extra seconds to fire up all the light apps. The average for recent flagships around 26 seconds. So overall, it scores a passable grade for sure, but not the best, closer to 2016 mainstream flagship's performance. Luckily, RAM management's not a problem on this 4GB of RAM Pro 6 Plus. Apps are stored in memory. However, it lacks the smoothness we've got on devices that are backed with 6GB of RAM. It is actually on a par with mainstream flagships like the Pixel or the LG V20 with 4GB of RAM. Not the best experience out there, but 2016 flagship's performance. Gaming experience, do keep in mind the 64GB model here packs an underclocked 2.0 GHz CPU and a 10-core Mali T880 GPU, instead of a 2.3 GHz CPU and a 12-core GPU on the 128GB model. It handles modern 3D titles just fine, even on a 64GB model here, but if you'd like to get the maxed out specifications, get the 120GB model instead. The camera's a huge part. It packs an IMX386 sensor from Sony with 12 megapixels and f2.0 aperture, laser autofocus, and 4-axis optical image stabilization. Features-wise, basically it's identical to previous flagships from Meizu. We've got light field, which is a refocus feature, slow motion, QR code scanner, panorama, beauty, all those stuffs. The key is manual mode. All the shutter speed, ISO, exposure, saturation, and the white balance can be set manually. It would be better if we can get manual white balance in Kelvin, but it's fine. Image quality is decent in good lighting. It tends to underexpose a little bit to compensate high dynamic range scenarios. It is winter and the sky is mainly grey. It catches the slight difference in the brightness and the colors between the cloud layers beyond my expectation. Details are reasonable, but not the best, while the color remains untouched and natural. Unfortunately, low light performance still lagging behind compared to other latest and greatest flagships, including the Mate 9 Pro. The details not there and the images look a bit dull and plain. Contrast, texture, and color saturation's average. Back on a 4-axis optical image stabilization, it shows perfectly stabilized video when I was standing still, but when I started to walk, wobbling effect kicked in and the videos became shaky. Overall, it's got a decent camera which offers better than enough image quality for photos sharing on social media platforms. Now, the display on the Pro 6 Plus is gorgeous. A 5.7 inches Quad HD Super Amoled pressure-sensitive display on a budget smartphone. Incredible. Colors are vibrant. Black is completely black with terrific viewing angle. The white balance also pleasing to the eyes out of the box. A bit on the cooler side, but we can always fine-tune the tone of the display inside the display settings. It is a gorgeous, massive display. The loudspeaker on the Pro 6 Plus is a down-firing one, but it is loud, clear and crisp.
You're giving me a million reasons to let you go. You're giving me a million reasons to quit the show. You're giving me a million reasons. Give me a million reasons. Giving me a million reasons. About a million reasons.
The 3.5mm headphone audio output in the meantime, the dedicated DAC chip delivers crisp and defined audio. It tends to keep soundtracks untouched with a natural tone. The bass is there, but it's not covering the highs. While the soundstage is also significantly wider than mainstream flagships, including the S7 and the Pixel XL without dedicated DAC chips. It also upsamples 44.1 kHz audio files to 192 kHz. It's talking 1+3T or HTC10 quality. The V20 remains its title in this category. Or at the battery life, the 3400 mAh battery is not out of ordinary, but in reality an AMOLED display and an Exynos processor. We are getting comparable battery life to the Note 7 and the S7 Edge, which is on the top of the list. The standard battery life tests based on 4 hours with video's playback with a maximum screen brightness, while M-Charge 3.0 boasts 24-watt power delivery, more than 20 watt on the OnePlus 3T and more than 22.5 watt on the Huawei Mate 9 Pro. The Meizu Pro 6 Plus. The design might be a bit boring, but the build quality is decent. Backed with 2016 flagship hardware, we are getting top-of-the-line Android experience. 4 gigs of RAM's more than enough to handle day-to-day media consumption, but multitasking's not the smoothest on earth. The features that take ages to cover add bonus mark to the overall package. The camera, however, is not the best out there. But we are getting the best display, one of the best audio quality and one of the longest battery life, and the absolute fastest charging speed. Multimedia experience on this flagship killer may even kill the genuine flagships themselves. There we have it, the Meizu Pro 6 Plus. Hope you all enjoyed watching this video. Like it if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe. Once again, this is Ray. See you next time.